welcomes you to the Pulse Podcast. Today we've got a packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you well informed. So, please click the subscribe button to get notified of upcoming episodes. If you like what the APN's The Pulse Podcast talks about, then please share the Pulse with others. During this episode of The Pulse, the host looks forward to your comments. Tonight's APN's The Pulse Podcast starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pulse Podcast, brought to you by the Great America's Pulse Network. So I'm your host again, your moderator tonight, Damon Galdo. I know we go back and forth who moderates, but I'm doing it again tonight. Next week it'll be Alexandra, and so make sure you join us every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. So I just want to say tonight we're not here to play politics. We're here to take the pulse of this country. That's why we named this show The Pulse. This is the America's Pulse Network, not one voice, not one show, not one perspective. This is a network of podcasters, of Americans, of people who are paying attention, asking questions, and refusing just to accept whatever narrative gets handed down to us. So we don't just talk. We report, we analyze, we gauge the pulse of America. And right now, something doesn't add up. Because tonight, excuse me, we're looking at a pattern. Not one story, not one headline, a pattern. We're going to start with the Swalwell situation and what he's going through right now. Not that I'm sad about it, but anyway, we'll talk about that when we get into the show. The allegations, the headlines, the outrage of people, but more importantly, the timing. Why now? Who benefits from it? Is this just like accountability finally catching up, or is it a political strategy being executed at the highest level? Then we're going to zoom out because this isn't just about one man. We've seen this before. We saw it with Biden, with Joe Biden. For years, the American people were told everything was fine, sharp as ever, fit to lead, nothing to see here, until the moment came where he couldn't be hidden anymore, right in front of the entire country, because he completely fell apart at the debate with Trump. So the protection stopped and the replacement began, Kamala Harris. So protect, promote, replace. Is that leadership or is that a system? Then we take it a step further. We're going to talk about power, real power, not the kind you vote for, but the kind that operates behind the scenes. How candidates can be elevated without a true process, how massive money and media alignment can move fast when it needs to. And what's really going on in the streets when chaos breaks out, where we're going to talk about, that reporter who was shoved to the ground that worked for TPUSA. That's going to be coming up as well, because all of it points to the same question: who is actually in control? And then we're going to close with something very different. We'll talk about strategy, the global strategy, Trump's global strategy. Because while chaos plays out at home, there's a bigger chessboard, overseas. And we're going to break down what we're seeing. And because the news is unbelievable. There's something different every day. It's so hard to keep up with all of it. So we're just going to go through this, and we're going to talk about what the news is, and this is the Pulse. So let's get into it. So I'm going to introduce my guest. I'm not going to do breaking news at all because there's no reason for it, because everything that we're going to talk about is pretty much breaking news. So let's bring on our first guest, or host. I'm not sure who's coming on next. We have Eleana Barbera. How you doing?
Hi, nice to be here again.
All right, as always. Thank you. Thank you for coming on. I always love your insights, and I know the listeners do as well. And we'll bring on the next. We got Jack Bragen.
Damon, how are you?
Good.
Good to be here.
Jack is the host of New Jersey State Watch. Did I say that right?
State House Watch.
State House Watch, yeah. And just joined the network, and we have Justin Murphy there too. Justin Murphy is running for U.S. Senate in New Jersey. Thank you, Justin, for coming on. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, very thankful to always be here and the opportunity, Damon.
So All right, so we'll get into the first segment: Swalwell, timing, scandal, strategy, or both. So I'm gonna go with this. You look at it, and in my mind, I'm pretty. This is my gut feeling. Swalwell was running for governor in California. All right. So, there's no way people like Pelosi and everyone, the Democrats, didn't know that this stuff was going on at all. And I just believe they didn't want him to run for governor, and he stepped out of the line and he went too far. They didn't do it. And they said, you know what? Let's just bring the hammer down on him right now and expose him. And now he's done. He dropped out of the governor's race, and now he resigned from Congress.
So why? Why would they want him out of the governor's race?
I just don't think because he didn't have a lot of Democrat backing with it. Like they didn't. I don't think they really wanted him to run for governor. They wanted to keep him where he was and keep him at bay. It's a gut feeling for me. That's all I'm saying. So I mean, Eleana, so you can go first. What do you think about the whole Swalwell thing? Even though I know what you're going to say, it's disgusting if he did what he did, but.
Well, I've heard a few people say what you said, they're just trying to knock him out, but I haven't heard one good reason. And I am, we'll be curious as we go around to see if anybody has any. As far as the allegations of, the rape allegations and the drugging allegations, I mean, those are obviously really heavy. I do take them more seriously than I took the ones that, were against Brett Kavanaugh or Donald Trump that were 30, 35 years old, had no details, not even dates. I mean, they were all so vague, all of those allegations. These are very specific. Even the hotel room where the girl alleged that this happened, there's proof that he was there using campaign funds, that he stood at the hotel. So there's like actual forensic evidence here. I think this is going to be a much tighter case. But either way, he's a dirtbag. The hooker video, the videos of him in the bathrobe, like dancing with those girls at some resorts. Like, you're a married man. You got a wife and kids at home. You're disgusting. He's just a snake, no matter what. But the reason none of this came out earlier is because being a snake is just part of the lay of the land. They just look the other way. Morals don't count up on the hill.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna play this one clip of one of his alleged victims, and then we'll go from here.
I believe he drugged my drink. I only had one glass of wine. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated and I couldn't. Body. He raped me, and he choked me, and while he was choking me, I lost consciousness, and I thought I died. I did not consent to any.
So, I mean, if that's true, that is horrible, and I don't know. I have anything to say really about it. If it's true, I can't say that it is. You never know, but it looks like it is. But my point being is, I just want to know there's a lot of women that are coming out right now at a certain time when he was gearing up for a governor's race. That's why I believe it was tactical, and they knew about it, and they said, "Okay, he's done. We're going to release it on him." That's what I think. So, Jack, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, this is Bill Cosby stuff. It's that level, or like Harvey Weinstein. It's that level of abuse, depravity, whatever you want to call it. But the interesting part is the politics that this looks like. It could be a setup here to, or there is some thought behind it. I don't want to say a setup, but they have all the girls ready, all lined up to go. This just could be how the Democratic Party does its dirty work to get rid of people.
Usually they just kill people.
Would have been easier.
This might
Well,
be.
I thought Hillary retired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't. California has a different sort of primary, isn't it? The top two candidates.
Jungle. It's a ranked choice voting system.
It's ranked choice.
Which is then they're trying to shove that down our throats here in New Jersey, and you don't want it.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I know that was in one of the bills actually that was just passed by Murphy. It's named after that civil rights guy. I forget what his name is. That's his name.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. So, I don't think he was in the running or maybe he was. I wasn't paying that close attention, but was he in the top three?
I don't know, on the Democrat side, I don't know where he was. He declared himself the front runner, but I don't believe he was.
I mean, maybe they really do want to put Kamala in there, and they had to get him out. Maybe that's.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, Justin, seriously, what do you think? I mean, I'm looking at it like I already thought personally that this guy was the scumbag. No, I didn't know that this was going on. Again, there are allegations, but how does it happen like this, where it just comes out like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, all once? That's what makes me think it was.
There's some component of coordination here, at least on the release. Eric Swalwell, I mean, is an arrogant, self-absorbed scumbag. I mean, that's what he is. He had an opportunity to come across as a mature, reasonable statesman during the Trump administration. He couldn't wait to jump all over Trump and Russia collusion, and he was a loudmouth idiot. Probably too young to be in Congress, and couldn't handle the power. And this is clearly somebody who, when got a little bit of power, became greedy for more power and became self-righteous and arrogant to the degree that he thought he was above the law, could do anything he wants. This is, Bill Clinton, same thing. Ted Kennedy, John Edwards. I mean, there's a pattern here. It's not like he's the first one. But I will tell you, in all likelihood, as an attorney, the odds, the probability that no one in the Democrat Party knew he had these issues is non-existent. They knew. They knew Harvey Weinstein was raping women in Hollywood, but the Hollywood feminists wanted their own privileged little lifestyle, didn't want to upset anything and get thrown out of Hollywood if they blew the whistle on Harvey Weinstein. So the Democrat Party knew about this. They knew of his issues. They knew it. But they coddled him. They protected him, swept it under the rug for whatever reason. And this is what happens in politics. You're bought, bullied, or blackmailed. And when it's time for you to go and you don't want to go, well, they got you one way or the other. Maybe a little bit of blackmail here. Now, they obviously they can't stop the women from coming forward with any of these allegations, and they shouldn't, because the victims need to be heard and speak, because nothing can happen until the victim comes forward. But he's, did they want him out? They certainly got to a point now where they can't defend him any longer. So, Eric, you're leaving. No, I'm going to fight this. No, Eric, you're leaving, because we're not going to sit around and take on the Sunday morning talk shows and defend you for the next 2 years while you stay in Congress. Sorry. And you're not running for governor anymore. So there could have been some backroom tussle where he had to have been told, look, you're stepping down or you're leaving or whatever. And then it broke. There is an element of coordination here, I believe. And that's, I think you got some attorneys that want to be celebrity attorneys. And I just can't imagine that people in the Democrat ranks and the leadership tiers did not know about this. Of course they knew about this. And, and he doesn't engender any sympathy toward it, because he's an arrogant smacked ass. He's a punk. He's an arrogant, messy little left-wing punk who, coming from California, never had to worry about political consequence or political competition. So that just fed this greed for political power. He can do anything he wants. And that's what he thought until he can no longer do anything he wants. So it's a shame, because now, you've got, it's unfortunate in this country. We seem to have a political class that is elected and then can somehow figure out a way to stay. And it's apathy that's keeping them there more than anything. I think the numbers bear that out. It's apathy. And we just get this group of people, and they're on both sides of the aisle, but I think it does lean to the Democrat side a little more, because this is what they want. They want to be that elite ruling class. They want to be insulated from criticism and political competition. They don't like to be exposed. They want their secret lives. They don't want to be questioned. They're arrogant and greedy for political power. and it just spills over. And look at the allegations against Bill Clinton. The same thing we just heard Eric Swalwell: rape, assault, abuse. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein. It's all the political power players that take part in this cesspool, and it's bad for the country because why is turnout so low? This is one reason.
You're right, Justin. And the thing is too, and we're gonna move on to other clips too, talk about different Congress people as well. And we just have the great Seth Eisenberg from Conservative Corner pop in. Better late than never, but he's here. So, but Seth, we were talking about Swalwell and what's going on with him. And so we played the clip earlier. The girl, we probably already saw it, and she was drugged, raped, and all that. And then there's other women that came out and said that. And the question I have was this tactical or just the time just came out? Is this the Democrats like just opening the floodgates to take him out for some reason whatsoever? Because I can't. There's no way I would say that like Pelosi and all those other Democrats out there didn't know this stuff was going on. And then somehow just boom, they all come out. And I want to thank Donald for commenting, Blake and all that stuff. People in the comment section, I appreciate that. So you can ask questions so like that. We'll put it up there. But Seth, since you just joined, what are your thoughts on the one that has uncontrollable flatulence on camera?
I
wish I would have got that video. I forgot.
My personal opinion is right now it's just all allegations, so I'm reserving judgment. I mean, for all we know, this could be BS. He might be innocent of everything. As far as I know, I haven't seen any proof brought forward. I've just heard, finger pointing. He did this and he did this and he did this. And so far, nothing substantial has been brought up to back up these allegations. I mean, it's the same thing with anybody accused of any crime. Until there's evidence or they're convicted, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Isn't it more than just hearsay, though? Aren't there photos and videos and all that kind of stuff?
I haven't seen. If there are, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything released or talked about.
There's evidence that he was there where she said he was, that he was staying in that hotel and used campaign funds, and so placing him at the scene of the crime is already a thing.
Couple lewd photos too.
There was some photos of him grabbing
photos over. We didn't see them yet, right? She turned them over to the police. So yeah, those things haven't been released. So there apparently is some evidence.
I mean, if there is, then he's a piece of shit and they should be castrated. I mean, it's just that simple. There should be no discussion. Oh, you did this? You've been convicted of it? We can either do it chemically or we can use a pair of scissors. How do you want this done? But it's happening either way. And that should happen to anybody. But like I said, until this comes forward and there's a conviction, he's gone to court and a jury of his peers go, yes, you're guilty. I don't want to start slandering somebody and all of a sudden find out it's all BS. And then I look like an idiot and I can do that on my own without any help. So I don't want to do anything that might do that. But if he did do it, and I think you're right. I think this is not all of a sudden. I think they're doing this now because they want him gone for some reason. Maybe they want to be able to use him as the poster child. Look, one of our guys did this and we yanked him, we pulled him out and made him retire and quit. Yeah. You got to do the same to Trump now because look, he's done the same thing. You can't say that we're not trying to fix things. Now it's you not fixing things. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be used as a tool.
Either way, it'll be used that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I just it's just weird how it all just drops at once. Things like these. It doesn't like slowly come out. Someone says something and it just hit it once. And then what? All right, dropping out of the governor's race. Okay, I get that if he's accused of this stuff. I understand that because it's going to smear him and he's probably not going to get elected as governor. But then resigning from Congress, if I didn't do it, I wouldn't resign.
Oh, no, I agree. He probably did do it, but like I said, I just want to wait.
Yeah, of course. No,
but for the sake of conversation, it doesn't make him look innocent to resign.
Men run. You know, if you didn't do nothing.
Look how the Democratic Party behaved back when he was messing around with Fang Fang, right? And she was a spy from China. Yet, I mean, you can just imagine the pillow talk going on there. And they kept him on the what was it? The Foreign Relations Committee. One of
they still kept him on there after. respect.
Yeah, they would not even take him off. I mean, this is disgusting. It's just typical Democrat behavior. It's really despicable.
Well, we're going to go into. I got a couple more clips to play, and this isn't just Democrats. There's Republicans in here in these clips as well. But my point about this, well, what the hell is going on in Congress? As everyone sees behind me, Galdo for Congress. Hopefully we get a regular person here. I promise I'm not going to do what these people are doing. At least if I do, my wife will castrate me herself. So, but let's play the next clip. I'll show you this one.
And not to mention the fact that I don't even fall into the category of Swalwell and Gonzalez. One, I'm not married, so there's one thing. Two, I've never sexually harassed and or had any complaints by any staffers or interns on the Hill. It's just not even a fair comparison. This is obviously a political Democrat tit for tat, so I'm not even going to entertain it, but I've not heard anything as far as myself.
Got you. And obviously the allegations, I mean, that you are facing now, very different from what they're facing. But, apologies if I missed this, do you deny the allegations against you?
Well, there's many things that's been accused and allegations against me. I mean, look, at one point in time, they tried to make a claim of domestic violence, even though no one actually claimed there was domestic violence and had never been arrested, had never gone to any proceedings, and it was essentially just something where it was bad. It's just interesting kind of seeing how you're guilty by accusation as opposed to the way the rule of law.
See that Congressman Corey Mills there. He said he wasn't married, but he's accused of in the news of domestic violence. And when he asked him, do you deny the allegations? He didn't say, yes, I deny them. He just went into something else. So, Elaine, I'll go to you on this one. I mean, he's a Republican congressman. He didn't resign. He's expected to. So I don't really know a lot about this case, but why didn't he deny it?
Well, he kind of denied it earlier in that video. A little bit earlier, he was like, no, there's nothing to see. I don't know exactly what he said, but there's nothing to see here. Why didn't he deny it? I don't know. Politicians just squirm their way out of everything. And when he wanted, because it wasn't a specific piece of an allegation, that whole conversation was so vague. If somebody is going to ask me, do you deny the allegations? I want to know exactly what you're talking about before I admit to or deny. Right. And, you never know if a reporter is just trying to trap you. So I almost kind of can't blame the guy in that case because that whole conversation was vague.
Yeah, so I don't know if that one's going to hold any water or anything. I don't know a lot about it other than it just came out. He did not resign. But Jack, I'll go to you. What happened to the old school politicians like Bill Clinton that just straight up lies to you and say, I did not have sexual relations with that woman?
Well, it all depends on the definition of is. I think that's what it boiled down to in his testimony. This goes all the way back to Kennedy. Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy had their girlfriends swimming in the pool, and they had Jackie Kennedy out of town while they were doing that. And Marilyn Monroe was. The best happy birthday I've ever seen in my life is when she, happy birthday, Mr. President. So this goes way back.
George Washington cheated on Martha. I mean, this is not new.
Is anyone, Seth, I want to go to this next, and then after that, Justin. Is there not a Heather Galdo out there or anywhere else? Because seriously, I say it, I'll say it again. I never cheated on my wife, and I never will. And it's like basically 40% out of love and 60% out of fear. So, is there another Heather Galdo that somebody married? I mean, seriously, because she would. I would never even think about it because she would kill me.
Well, it's today's society. Like I said, I think last Wednesday, it's a microwave society. I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. I'm not going to wait. We throw things away that we can fix. Why am I going to waste my time? I'm just going to go into something new. Same thing with marriages. Things get a little rough, they go cheat. There's no more loyalty. There's no more integrity. There's no more stick-to-itiveness. I guess that's a way to put it. That's society's fault. That we've allowed. It's okay now to cheat. It's okay to lie. It's okay to do what you want to do because it's understandable. Go with your feelings. It's embarrassing. As a man, I'm embarrassed when I hear stuff like, I've cheated on so and so before, but I'll never do it again. Bullshit. The only reason you're saying that is because you got caught. You don't really mean that. You're going to keep doing it. That's just who you are. You just were raised that way. And it doesn't matter if you have a wife like your wife that would like smack your head into the wall. These people don't care. They're not loyal to anything. They don't care. They're loyal to the next piece of tail. So the next piece of tail comes along. And they're loyal to that. It's disgusting what the society has become. It's disgusting what we put on a pedestal and look at as the bar. Like our bar, we need to be just like that. You know what? It's nothing worth emulating. Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, the other bad thing is, drugging these women, the way this is done, it's not consensual. I mean, obviously the woman cheating or not, it's not even consensual. It is rape. That's exactly what it is.
Well, yeah, that's what Swalwell is accused of. And then just before I go to you, we have another clip. This is Tony Gonzalez. He resigned actually in Congress. It's how messed up our elected officials are. So my thing is, again, why not vote for somebody like me for Congress? Because all these people are just, the debauchery is bad. So let's roll this clip.
Scandal-plagued Tony Gonzalez is in his last few hours as a U.S. congressman. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Ernie Zuniga.
And I'm Myra Arthur. This afternoon, Gonzalez submitted his resignation letter to Governor Greg Abbott, effective at 11 p.m. tonight, San Antonio time. Gonzalez spent months under pressure to step down after his affair with a staffer was made public.
KSAT Investigates Daniela Ibarra has been covering the fallout since the very beginning and explains what this now means for people living in his district.
I am not going to resign. I would work every day.
Guess what? He resigned.
Yeah.
He resigned.
So your thoughts, Justin, on us? Because I got one more clip to play after this at Sheila McCormick, but her still on the FEMA fund, but we'll play it in a minute. But Justin, your thoughts? Like, what the heck is going on?
It's just so sad to see. Because obviously it cuts across the aisle, it cuts across both parties. It's sad to see. We should look to our federally elected officials. We should look up to them. But they should be standard bearers for morality. Although they're not. Americans want to like the people they elect. They want to like them. They want to look up to them. And, this is one reason that we have a dangerously high level of apathy. I mean, we're desensitized. A congressman had an affair with a staffer. One was married. One did this. One did that. One's lining their own pockets. And their family's rich. And we're desensitized to it. Mikey Sherrill, should have been tossed out of the governor's race in New Jersey when it was widely known that as a member of Congress, entrusted as a U.S. member of the United States House of Representatives. She's on the House Armed Services Committee, and she's trading defense stocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
What does that say? I'm greedy. I'm arrogant. I'm self-absorbed. I'm insulated. I don't think there's a consequence to my political action, so screw you. I'm going to make my millions for me and my family. I'll do it illegally, and it should be. And here we go again. Now, did 90% of the people in New Jersey come out and vote for her? No. That's the good news. What's the bad news? About half the voter bloc was sitting home. So it's the dangerously high level of apathy that is getting these people elected and keeping them reelected. It is just sad for the country to see this. I mean, look at what we went through in the 90s with Bill Clinton. It was, oh my God, it was awful. It was every night of the week somebody's coming up with some allegation against him. And it's so tiresome. It drives down turnout. It drives down participation. It sours people on public service and politics in general. And this is why people say they're all crooks. They're all the same. There's no difference. And it's really sad for the country. Obviously, not every person that holds office that's like that. But what happens is the voter and the public, they break down the distinction. They don't say, oh, it's only that one or it's only that small group. They say all of them. They all do it. They all trade stocks. They all do this. They all cheat on their wife. I mean, and it's unfortunately, but that's the perception. And look, not every member of Congress conducts their life this way, thankfully. But the voter and the public, the perception that's created is that, well, the entire culture is so corrupt. It extends to the people that we elect, and then we allow it. We permit it by either keeping them there, or they're never held accountable. Now, maybe in some cases they will be, we hope. But it's just a shame. I feel so bad for the country because, we got young people we're trying to talk into getting involved in politics and looking into, public service, and who has time for this? And it's just really sad and a shame to see. Not just a destroyed marriage, bad enough. Okay, but when you talk about if this is true, the allegations against Swalwell and going back to Bill Clinton, he was alleged to have been a rapist and assaulter and everything else. And they're not the only two. Just to point two out, it's such a shame for the country. It's embarrassing. It's like we have better people to serve, but they don't want to be involved in politics for obvious reasons.
Yeah, well, Donald just asked, he said, Justin, what are people to think after hearing all these allegations without anyone being held accountable? I know what we think. Seth, you and I talked about this a lot. We think that they never get held accountable. Well, at least in this case, they kind of are because they're resigning. But nothing ever comes. If there's a crime, we'll see what happens with Swalwell. If he's convicted of this rape, we'll see what happens. Yeah. And we always talk about the congressional hearings, and they're like a waste of time. Nothing comes to fruition about it. But we're running close to the end of the segment, so I just want to play this last clip with Sheila McCormick, and we'll roll that, and let's go around the room real quick and talk about it.
Representative Sheila Sherfilis McCormick's political future will be at play in a rare public ethics hearing on Thursday, after she was accused of carrying out a multi-million-dollar laundering scheme involving Federal Emergency Management Agency funds. The House Ethics Committee is considering the case this week. Members will determine whether accusations that Sherfilis McCormick stole $5 million in FEMA funds, funneling a portion of them to her campaign account, could warrant her expulsion from Congress. The Justice Department charged the Congresswoman in November 2025. The development came after a Florida state agency mistakenly paid out the money in 2021 to Sherfilis McCormick's family company, and the Congresswoman failed to return the funding. According to the indictment, Florida's Division of Emergency Management loaned money to South Florida's Trinity Healthcare Services to register people for COVID-19 vaccinations. Prosecutors said that instead of returning the payment, Sherfilis McCormick and her family moved the funds to other accounts to, quote, disguise its sources, and funneled money to friends and relatives, who then...
Well, the hits just keep on coming. Here you go. This is just pure criminal theft and greed and arrogance of it. This is why we have a high level of apathy. It's just sad to see. But, now somebody like that, you don't want to just have them resign. You want to prosecute them.
Yes.
That's racist.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll turn into that.
She didn't do it.
But, like Seth, you were, when you first came on, let's do the right thing, and that is, we have a judicial system, and it's the best in the world. It's not perfect, but it's the best in the world. Everybody is owed a presumption of innocence as an American citizen. There's due process. We need to make sure we don't throw that away with the Gloria Allreds of the world and every other squad that wants to convict people based on an allegation. When people say something about Donald Trump, I said, is that the same guy that colluded with Russia? Is that him? Oh, that one? Yeah, okay. Oh, that wasn't true. Oh, wasn't true. Oh, is that the guy where you screamed for years you wanted to see his taxes because you knew he was cheating, and then he released them and there was nothing on them that was incriminating? Is that the guy you're talking about? So, we want victims to come forward. Obviously, nothing can happen as far as justice and accountability until that happens. So they need to have confidence in our system that it can work for them. But that's a first step. The second step is that when you have somebody accused, that they retain their presumption of innocence and right to due process. And then the third is, if they're convicted or found civilly liable for something, then you hold them accountable. And cooler heads need to prevail in this, because once you get into some details like this, people just want blood. Swalwell, what are you doing? You're drugging women and choking them, right? Obviously, that's a bad thing. And we want that dealt with, and we want accountability for the victims more than anything else. But we need to make sure that there's adults in the room with this, And, whether or not I am no fan of Eric Swalwell. I think he's an arrogant, self-absorbed little left-wing liberal punk. He's a punk, mouthy little arrogant little punk. But he is an American citizen. He's owed due process, a presumption of innocence. And if the hammer falls, man, you don't squeak. You don't squeak by. You pay the piper.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
Can we celebrate though that he's gone? Like,
yes,
I can't celebrate that he's gone. I mean, listen, I will say we got to go to our next segment in a second, but I would celebrate that he's gone. I hope it's not true what he did because it's horrible.
Yes.
I'm just saying that. But if he did do it, then throw his ass in jail. I hope it's not true, but either way, I don't care what it is. I'm celebrating that he's gone.
Same here. I'm glad as a politician and a Republican, I'm glad he's gone. But as an American citizen, I want the system to work for the victims, and it's got to work a certain way.
Correct.
Should have been.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll go to the next segment.
All right.
Word.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up. Because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. But America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. The New Jersey State House Watch, hosted by Jack Bragen and Constance Detzel. APN's The Pulse is moderated by either Alexandra, Damon, Eleana, or Seth. Also tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms. Join the revolution because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
And welcome back, everyone. And that's why we call this the Pulse, America's Pulse Network, and it's the Pulse of America. That's why we want to have our fingerprints on the pulse and see what everyone thinks. And so if you want to go into that chat box there and you want to ask a question or put something up there, we will talk about it. Something Blake said, you tell him, Justin. So I just need to put it up there. So this one is the segment protect, promote, replace the Biden pattern. So that's where I got this from. If they removed Swalwell, whether it was a tactical hit on him or not, or it just happened to be, it came to light at a certain time. But I see the mainstream media talk about Kamala Harris. And they're like, oh, well, get Kamala Harris in there for governor of California. So it kind of reminds you of something, doesn't it? That happened before?
Yeah.
So Jack, I'll go to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty clear the Democrats have a pretty thin bench. If Kamala Harris has yet to string more than two or three sentences together, that makes sense. So
she can say Jack Daniels.
Yeah, she does say that. Fill it up. Give me a double shot. But I don't know. At some point, the people in California have to just say enough is enough. I mean, clearly, she, when she ran, what it demonstrated more than anything else is she does not have what it takes to, take a leadership position. She just doesn't. So I don't know. I think this would be disastrous for the Democratic Party. If that's what they're dreaming about, I think they're in for a rude awakening. So that's my take.
Seth, what do you think about it? Do you think Kamala Harris would make California any worse or better, or does it not even matter because they're so far gone?
It doesn't matter. she couldn't do any worse than they already have. I mean, you can't mess up something that's already messed up. You can just, And I would rather her be elected governor than anything else. That way we know where she's at. We don't have to worry about her poking her nose into the presidential race or anything like that. She's in California. We know what she's doing. We can keep an eye on her and let them keep electing her. I don't, make her governor for life. I don't give a shit. Like I've said before, I don't care what Democrats do anymore because they're disingenuous, dishonest, and they're idiots. There's nothing about them that I respect anymore. If it's something they can do or get an angle on, they're going to do it. They don't care if it's about the rules. They don't care about the laws. They just care about being in power. So I put her in power. At least that way we know where she's at. We can kind of control her, and then they'll think they won. Let them think it. We know where she's at. She's out of our hair. Can't mess with anybody else in the government. She's stuck in California. Let her do it. But I at this point, I don't care what the Democrats do or say. Anything, anytime they're moving their mouth, I'm going to assume they're lying. It's just how it's going to be from now on.
All right.
Let's not forget Tara Reid. She was a Biden staffer that alleged that Joe assaulted and raped her, and the left turned a blind eye to it. So they are selective about what women they believe. Tara Reid came forward with some pretty graphic detail that what Joe Biden did to her when he was a senator. He gets a pass. Bill Clinton got all the passes in the world. Ted Kennedy got all the passes. So the left is very selective with which women they believe.
I've always wondered.
You're right about that.
All these people that come out with these allegations, why don't they go to the local police department and file a criminal charge?
Yeah.
That's all they got to do. Doesn't matter who you are. If there's a criminal charge, the police are obligated to investigate it. Doesn't matter who you are. So why aren't they doing that? That's another thing I've never understood. He raped you. Why are you going to CNN? Why are you going to your local police department?
Question. Well, look what they did to Roy Moore in Alabama. As soon as he lost that race for U.S. Senate, every allegation went away.
Exactly. It's hard to, like I said, it's hard to believe any of these people because it's like they're going out of their way to make it almost like where you could find some doubt. Go to the goddamn police, file your complaint, then I'm going to believe you because now you're going to get in trouble if you're bullshit. You're going to go to jail if you're filing false police reports.
Yeah.
File a complaint. Have the police investigate it. Stop going to Fox and CNN and pleading your case to the public. Go to the police.
Well, yeah, Eleana, I got to go to you with this because you're a woman. So you're a woman on the show right now. So what would it be like? You look at the Cosby stuff, that women came out like so late, with it, and you look at this. This happened allegedly a couple of years ago. I mean, there's so many different cases that women don't step forward until one finally does for whatever reason.
It is.
If it were you, what would you do? Like it,
It's so dicey. It's so dicey. I'll tell you. We have the cases on the one hand, that are true, that really happens, and on the other hand, we have the women that lie, right? So that have proven lied, that men have gone to jail, and then the women later say, "I'm sorry, I made that whole thing up for attention." But in the realm of the ones that are true, there are a lot of reasons that women don't come forward. First of all, they blame themselves for, why was I in the wrong place? Why was I there? I was stupid. I never should have, put myself in this particular situation. They're afraid that, this is a powerful person in this case, that they're just going to destroy my life, that no matter what I say, no one will believe me. They're afraid that, maybe a family member will try to, avenge them. And they don't want to see their brother or their father go to jail. Like, there's a lot of reasons women stay quiet.
I get that, but why would they go in the national news and tell the entire world?
So then, to say to wait, so my thing though is if you stay quiet for 10, 20, 30 years, just keep staying quiet at that point, because now you're really going to have a hard time getting people to believe you. Why go on the national news? Instead of to the police, sometimes these cases are past the statute of limitations and they cannot go to the police. Yeah. This one with Swalwell, she did go to the police. Like she brought evidence to, allegedly, according to the reports, to the police. So that's part of the reason too. I mean, it's an extremely humiliating thing. I know personally several women who have been assaulted who did not go to the police, just ate the pain and moved on with their lives. And, you know, they all, similar to what the woman said with the Swalwell case, like they just cried and drank and handled it in an unhealthy way. And that's what happens a lot of the time. It's not simple. It's not like somebody stole your grandmother's watch and you know, you just go through a process to get it back.
Right.
There might be some comfort in that they're coming out together. So it would give courage to one that might be reticent about stepping forward.
How many women have accused him right now? How many women have accused him?
I think 4. Wrong, but I think it's like 4.
4?
I think.
Yeah.
That's like Cosby. I mean, it's just the hits kept coming. It's like at some point you're like, why are all these women now, you know, coming out? And maybe they do need license to come out. And it is just such a shame, the political ramification of it. Yeah. It's really really bad.
I thought I heard this morning that in California there's no statute of limitations for rape in California. So, or whatever.
Well, if there's proof of it, then send his ass to jail. I hope he goes to jail if he did it. So, but I hope he. You know, I can't stand him. I hate him. I don't like him at all because he's a douchebag. I hope he didn't do it and commit that type of crime. But if he did, lock his ass up, throw him in jail with Bubba, and let him be his cellmate. You'll see how much fun he has there. So
I mean, just imagine the arrogance of a person that has all this baggage, and yet you know, they're so arrogant they think that they can run for governor of California.
You're right, Jack. You're right. It's a sociopathology. It's sociopathic on steroids.
Yeah. Yes, it's hubris precedes the fall, and that's exactly what we're looking at here.
Sure.
I have to say, I imagine there's at least 1% of his decision to resign had something to do with his wife. I don't think it doesn't sound like she, at least from the outside, it doesn't seem that, you know, her thoughts and feelings are that important. But when the rubber hits the road and everyone is turning against you, you need your wife. And if she looked at him and said, you know what, we got to get out of the public eye. This is a nightmare for me and the kids. He may take that into consideration because he needs her. She's it. She's all he's got now.
Well, for me, if I actually did that, I would need to be in witness protection from my wife. Just to say that again. So
this is almost like Tiger Woods. You know, I think you know, his wife had the best approach: grab a 9-iron and, you know, go after him. You know, that sort of thing. So
it's sad. It really is. The victim has to come first, but it's the ramification for the politics. I mean, in 1 week, you've got 4 people that are being rung up on something very serious. You got the money laundering theft queen down there in Florida that robbed COVID money, and that she's probably not the only one. And you know, it's an arrogance. I mean, in Burlington County here, I remember years ago when the Republican Party was the dominant one party in Burlington County, there were a number of county officials that were I'm not saying they're raping people, but they were a lot of activity outside of their marriage, you know, a lot of money flows and some corruption, and just it's the arrogance of the people that they can't control the power that they've been given them, and they just run with it and say, you know what, this is pretty cool, or I'm entitled, or I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to have to worry about the consequence. And you see it a lot. You see it at every level of government. You see it. It's not just federal, there's state issues. And that, I just read the other day, Mark Sanford from South Carolina, he wants to run for Congress again. You know, the dude, just give it a break. You know, you're running around on your family, and it's over. You know, there has to be a consequence to the action. And if you're barred from public service again, so be it.
Yeah,
but
the whole thing is, if they get barred from public service, they get to hit the speaking circuit and make $300,000 a speaking engagement. They don't lose.
Yeah, there's no consequence. Look at Bill Clinton. I mean, whatever happened to Bill Clinton that was bad?
Nothing.
For anything that he was.
Well, he had to stay with Clinton, with Hillary.
That's the
worst. Horrible.
Yeah, she wouldn't leave him no matter what. She wasn't leaving that power.
that was his punishment to stay married to Hillary.
Waking up to that every morning.
So with that, I want to say, yeah, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's what happens. That's why I believe in term limits. People shouldn't be in there for too long because you tend to lose yourself. And I always tell my wife, if I get elected, I said, you need to keep me grounded. Not that I see myself losing my way or anything like that, but that's why I believe in term limits, because if you're in that world, it's like Hollywood, same thing. That's what politics have become almost. It's like being a part of Hollywood, and once you experience everything, you feel like you can do whatever you want. Then it's human nature. People typically they can lose themselves very easily. So you need to have that check and balance. And that's my wife and that's my friends. I told them all the same thing. If I were to get elected, then you need to smack me in the face, if I start doing anything stupid. But
Elena will keep you in line, Damon.
I know Elena will. Yeah, Elena will. Yeah, I'll be friend. Listen, her and my wife coming up and teaming up with me, and Alexandra too. The 3 women that are going to come after me. I'm going to keep myself very proud. But we're going to take another break. But I just want to say to our producer, the man behind the curtain, I see Donald mentioned something about Seth's GoFundMe. So at the end of the show, if we're able to pull that up, he said he was looking for it. So if we still have that, we can pull it up at the end of the show. Just want to say that. So let's take a quick break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Pulse. This is the next segment. This segment is, power without process, Kamala, protest, and controlled chaos. I believe I named it. So basically, I put it that way because the whole Kamala Harris thing. I know we covered that in the last segment, but it was just something like replacing Joe Biden with Kamala Harris. Don't have a choice, and then the protests that are going on right now, the No Kings, and then the anti-ICE protest, and controlled chaos. That's basically what it is. They're paid protesters and they're controlled. It's controlled chaos. So before we get to it, I want to roll this first clip, and we'll take a look at it and just see what happened to a reporter from TPUSA.
Well, let's make no mistake, Laura, this escalated because they found out that I work for Turning Point USA. This isn't the first time that I have been confronted and assaulted at this point for journalism on the streets of the United States of America. But since Charlie Kirk's assassination, this is now the third time that people have come up to me after I have not been interviewing, not been engaging, but simply being on the street and filming a protest, figured out I work for Turning Point USA, and have made a point to confront me, to threaten me, to harass me, and now brutally assault me to prove a point. So that's why this escalated, Laura. I wasn't interviewing anybody. I wasn't engaging with anybody. And I apologize. This is the first time I'm talking about this assault, and I'm scared to report, Laura. This is my job. It's what I've been doing for the last 6 years, and I'm terrified.
And you know what? There's another clip. Let's roll this one next, and then we'll talk about it because it's pertaining to that. It shows. Stop touching
Leave me! I'm trying to leave!
I know, just go though. We're trying to help you.
I would say
good Democrats. Good Democrats.
Peaceful, tolerant left strikes again. Peaceful, tolerant left strikes again.
That wasn't even the worst. Like that, one of the men in that video shoved her.
Yeah.
She was flying.
Right.
I know.
He was arrested.
The guy with the end of the video, the bald guy that was.
Yeah.
He was arrested, right? I believe he was arrested.
Yes.
Good.
No, his daughter was. He wasn't.
I thought they all were.
Where did this incident take place?
Because
if it's a blue city, they'll get a slap on the wrist and they'll be out.
Well, it was definitely Blue City. I would guarantee that. I don't even know, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's Blue City.
Was it a college campus or something like that, or?
No, it was anti-ICE protest, and she was there reporting, and they just pushed her out of there. Just like she wasn't even interviewing people or contacting people; she was just reporting, and the people just jumped all over her. And these are and Seth, I'm going to go to you with this one. You damn well know they're paid protesters. Mm-hmm. These people are being paid by maybe Soros or whoever else it may be that want to disrupt the streets of the United States. And why can't we just crack down on this shit? You know, if they're being paid to go out there to disrupt people's lives and attack people, why can't we just bring the hammer down on all of them? You know,
and I think Trump is cracking down, but you'll notice where they have sanctuary, where they always riot and protest in a blue city with a blue governor, with a blue city council, with a blue mayor. I mean, that's where they stay safe. I mean, they're not walking down the streets of Little Rock, Arkansas doing this because they might have a different reception from law enforcement.
It was Minnesota. So
of course, that's what
they also know that as organized and trained and planned and funded as they are, they know if there's a legal consequence for something they're doing in a blue city that's a sanctuary state with a blue mayor and a blue city council, they know they're going to get off scot-free.
Yeah,
they know it.
You know, this permeates all levels of life, though. I mean, at a different level. Because I've run into a lot of people that have said, I can't go to this rally because I'll get in trouble at work, or I can't contribute to your campaign because if somebody at work finds out, I'm going to get in trouble, or, I have to be a registered Democrat because if I register as a Republican, I'll lose my job. So this, the Democratic Party has, spoiled the entire system, from the level of this girl getting assaulted, down to our neighbors who are suffering in the same way. They've lost their freedom. That's
what they want. They want you silenced, discouraged, on the sideline, don't speak, don't vote, don't get involved. Look there. That's what they want. That is what they want. They're out to bully people. They're a cesspool of intolerance, incivility, myopia, hate, anger, and militancy and violence. That is what they are.
Yeah.
No, they are. And the thing is, too, I'm a union carpenter, construction manager, too, but I am part of the carpenters union. And the men and women that I work with, the rank and file men and women, they are afraid to switch their party. I mean, they will vote Republican because they go in the voting booth. Nobody knows who they voted for. But they're afraid to talk about it and switch your party. They're afraid that if they get laid off and they have to go to the business agents and ask for, to put their name on the list, they won't get sent out to work. And I tell them all the time, okay, you have to realize, listen, it's the same thing as the government. We go to work every day. And we pay into our union dues, and that pays the business agent's salary. They work for us. You don't work for them. They work for us. So if you stand up and do that, the same thing with the government. We go to work every day, pay our taxes. They work for us. So, Seth, I see you raise your hand. So
I'm going to piss off a lot of people. I don't.
You always do.
I know. I don't care.
I love it though.
As far as that whole scene goes, maybe because I was in the military or whatever, but if you're going to go into the lion's den, you better be ready to get bit. She should. I don't understand why she's shocked. She knows those people are crazy. She knows they're violent. She knows how they're going to react to her. So she goes there by herself. Not that what happened, I'm not condoning anything. I'm saying, why did you not take precautions? Why did you not bring somebody else with you? Why are you acting shocked that they attacked you? If you watch anything like this anywhere in the country with a person interviewing these people, they get attacked. This is not like, oh my God, this happens all the goddamn time. And you still put yourself in a position to be assaulted and then be like, well, I don't know why they did it. Yes, you do. If you act like a welcome mat, you're going to be treated like a welcome mat. If you go to a rally like this knowing it's going to be violent by yourself, you can't be shocked when it gets violent. And number two, you just can't stand there and let people beat on you like you're a 3-year-old child. You're going to get beat either way, so start giving as good as you got. Don't stand there and look for help. Start fighting back. I'm so sick of all these whiny Republican idiots that get their asses kicked and stand there and cry and whine about it. Oh my God, they pushed me on the ground and then they punched me and they broke my camera. You were there. Why didn't you do something? Why didn't you swing back?
Concealed carry is the response.
And then expect everybody to feel sorry for you. You put yourself in that position. It's your job. Prepare yourself.
Yeah, well, I would.
Your ass whooped.
I would give her credit for doing it. Maybe that was the purpose of it, to show what they're like.
She's allowed to be there.
I mean, you go in there and throw yourself in the lion's den, knowing that you're probably going to get tossed to the ground and people are going to attack you. If you know that ahead of time, maybe she did, and then she goes into a bad experience for her. But
bullies only bully people they can get it away with. They don't bully people that fight back. Bullies are lazy and they're cowards. They look for the easiest target to go at. And once they find you that you're easy, you're done. They're not going to stop. So if you stand there and let these idiots bully you and don't fight back, don't be shocked when it continues. You need to fight back. You are allowed to defend yourself. It's a God-given right. It's the law. You are allowed to defend yourself within reason.
Yeah. Well,
someone shoves you, you can't jump in your car and run them over. But you can defend yourself. But if you stand there and take an ass whooping, it's not going to stop. It's going to get worse.
I like the idea of run them over. That's a good one.
Yeah, I was going to say this.
Extreme, but I mean, she should carry mace. She should have an escort with her. There should be a camera guy, somebody there that can run interference or get into the fight with her. Like, okay, let's do this.
That would have been a good video. She had a taser and just turn around, just like, and just knock them.
They probably don't do this in Florida because you can stand your ground in Florida.
They don't do it in Texas either because they get your ass shot in Texas.
That's right.
They go to places where they know nothing will happen to, or they think nothing will happen to them.
Yeah, everybody's armed here. Yeah, it's great.
And the thing is that's what it's like. We went to the Tesla protest back in, I think it was last April 25, I believe. I think, Jack, you were there. Yeah, those people were unhinged. So I went there to take some interviews from people, and once they found out who while I was there, they asked me certain questions. They wouldn't talk to me, but there were some threatening people there. I mean, I remember Jack was walking, and they got in his face, and luckily there was a bunch of big guys there, and they're like, "Oh," and he jumped in because he got surrounded. Right? I mean, you can tell the story. So
yeah, I was. This was back when they were setting Teslas on fire, and it was in Cherry Hill when there was an anti-Elon, and I was the one guy there with my Trump sign, but I was separate away from them. However, I was by myself, and as they walked by me going to the main crowd, they would curse at me, they would give me the finger, and these were not young people here, these were people my age. But they would stop and, confront me and, sort of egg me on to try to, start a fight, that sort of thing. So this happened 3 or 4 times. And then out of nowhere, these 2 big guys came up and they asked me if everything's okay. Right. And they said, we'll follow you down where Damon was in front of the dealership. And because I wanted to, meet up there with Damon, and they said, we'll escort you down, and these guys were huge. At the end of the day, he gave me his card. It was from the Proud Boys of New Jersey. And these were, believe me, these were the nicest guys. And thank God, because these people really were unhinged. They were absolutely crazy.
Consumed with hate, anger, bitterness. They're violent. They're militant. They're told it's okay to be like that. They're encouraged, they're facilitated by Democrat politicians that promote them, facilitate them, praise them, celebrate them, and do everything to protect them. Kamala with her bail program and with the Minnesota riots in 2020. and then gets to run for president of the United States. I mean, yeah, the left in this country has become a cesspool of deranged hate, and it's really, it's just.
And these Proud Boys, these guys were, as they were polite, they were not aggressive, but they definitely escorted me down through, the perimeter of the crowd, and people did make way. They were big guys. I'm glad they were there. Frankly.
Yeah, when Jack showed up, I looked up and like, who are these guys?
Is everyone aware of what happened in New York? I think it was 1971, where we had the hippie Woodstock crowd was in New York protesting Vietnam and protesting everything else, and there's a bunch of Union blue collar boys had enough of the protest crowd of the 60s, and they just turned on them and they did some ass whooping. That was a pretty moment. During that era of late 60s, early 70s. And this was, blue collar guys that had probably gone to Vietnam to fight to come home. They weren't into the protesting and they had just had enough. And I think, and the thought about it too, was that the American people were kind of on the side of the blue collar workers. I said, yeah, we're tired of these kids, the drugs, this and that, and the flag burnings. And the public was just tired of it. And the Democrat Party has to realize, and I believe it's already happening, how tired the public is of this left-wing agitation, this constant agitation. And the Republican Party at the national level, at the state level, Damon, candidates like us, we need to make sure this is an issue. And I say this all the time. We have to run on what the Democrat Party has become. And this is part of what they've become, to facilitate and promote this lawless violence, this anti-ICE rioting, looting, burning. This is what they are.
Well, it's a little different from back then, I would say, because these protesters are getting paid. They're absolutely getting paid. When we were at that Tesla dealership, when that protest, I parked, and then I saw all these buses pull up, and people came out of the buses, and they had like one leader. They're wearing like a high-vis safety vest, and they were guiding, down the street. And I just parked, and I just kind of mingled in with them. And I'm walking, and they gave me different. They gave me like a package. It was what to say, called Trump a fascist, called Musk a fascist, like all the talking points. And then another one was a voucher to come collect your $250 from Cooper River Indivisible. And Indivisible is one of the ones that are funding all these protests. This one was Cooper River Indivisible. And then when a guy said to me, he said, well, what group are you with? I said, I'm not with any group, I'm by myself. He said, oh, no. You got to give that back to me. And I said, yeah. It ain't happening. You got a better chance than you got. So I'm not giving it back. So I put it in my pocket and I posted on the podcast. I showed it. It just said it. But they're getting paid. So you have bad actors out there with a lot of money, like the Soros types. And I forget the guy's name, the one that's in China, that billionaire, that they tracked a lot of money back to him, and they're funding it. And they're just trying to disrupt and destroy the United States for whatever reason they have behind them. And that's what it is.
Damon, it's Marxism.
Yeah, exactly.
Marxism preaches, if you study Marx, he preaches the only way to change a society is through violence. That you cannot do it peacefully, you cannot do it democratically. They implore and invoke and employ violence, because you have to destroy what's existing to be able to replace it and rebuild with what you want, being a brand new communist society. This is a page out of the Marx playbook. Violence, you have to destroy the existing order with violence. And this is what they're doing. This is where they're at right now. They're openly, overtly violent and militant. And that's what they want. It's what they are. It's who they are.
Well, so they bring it to my doorstep, and I'll match their Marxist violence. So everybody knows.
Well, they need to see some of that. Seth, you're right. Because like they pick on a weak target, they pick on a woman who's alone, unarmed. They're bullies. They're bullies. They just, and they're idiots. I mean, if you ever see like the group photo of about 12 Antifa members that were arrested and the mask is off, you can look at them and say, yeah, they're Antifa. You kind of know by looking at them. It's a shame to see this, but it's part of the culture war, and there's no backing down from it. Someone's going to win and someone's going to lose, and we better win it.
Yeah. So all those Woodstock hippies, they now are in Cooper River, indivisible. You know, they've grown up
and had grandkids.
That's right.
Antifa.
But I will say, I was actually there at Woodstock for the weekends. They're not all of us are like that. So,
Right.
And I'm going to deny anything that happened.
I mean, if you look at how far the left has become, it's not just about protesting anymore. It's the radical violence and then they've taken over the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
You cannot run today. I tell people when I speak, can you imagine if I'm on a debate stage with Cory Booker, if I win the nomination, and I turn and say, Cory, can you possibly say the following words? I'm going to Washington. I'd like to be reelected so I can go to Washington to find common ground with Donald Trump and the Republicans to work to make the economic lives of New Jerseyans better. Now, do you think he could even utter those words? There would be an uproar. He would be challenged and he would lose a primary. He cannot, he's not permitted, and no other Democrat official is permitted to even intimate that they can reach some common ground with Donald Trump on some issues. Sometimes they can't even do it. Right, it's the end of their political careers.
So, but all right, guys, listen, we got to take another quick break and then go into this last segment here. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll talk about Trump's global strategy, or I would say strategy, because I typed it in. Oh no, he's already burned me.
Hey, it's great to be on with you. This is a great podcast. It's a lot of fun and it's informative and it's real information. It's none of the frills and none of the nonsense that you hear on the legacy media. Just telling the story of what's happening right now. It's what I do with my newsletter that I get out to anybody who wants to see it. It's what you're doing with this podcast. America needs to know what the real deal is, and you're the real deal.
Yeah, I still love it. Thank you, Jeff, for that. I appreciate it. He's awesome. But so yeah, Trump's global strategy. So when this went out earlier, I'm gonna blame my producer because it said strategy. There was no T in there when I put it in the thing. So it was me. I was typing it up at work real quick, put it out there. He said, I just copied and pasted it. He said, I put it out there. It said strategy. So I looked at it. I'm like, there's no T. He's like, I just copied it. But it was funny. Anyway,
Yeah, where's the spell check when you need it?
But so this is Trump's global strategy. Now, for me, I can only speculate that I think this is what the deal is, what Trump's plan is. Looking at what he's doing. Now, again, don't agree with every politician or anybody I voted for 100%, but I see what Trump's doing here with the whole Iran war and everything else. Now, I know everyone's up in arms. They're like, oh, well, he's the anti-war and all that stuff. I believe he is. I really do. But going in and taking out the threat of Iran and getting rid of the nuclear program and their ballistic missiles, I think good. All right. And then I think the strategy that he came up with, he kind of forced Iran to one option left, to close the Strait of Hormuz. And if they do that, you look at it, China gets about somewhere around 38% to 40% of their oil from there. So now he's strangling China's energy that's coming out. And so if that's the case and they close it down, he says to open it up. And then they open it up and they say we're going to tax people, the ships that are coming through. And then he goes, okay, well, we're going to blockade it. And then on the last podcast I showed in the breaking news, there was hundreds of ships heading for the Gulf of America. It is rightfully called now. And they're filling up with our oil and we're selling it. So basically China and Iran were somewhat of allies and both against the United States. So he kind of pinned China against Iran and said, no, you're going to block it off, and now he put it in their hands. I think it was a great chess move. So I don't know. I'll go to you, Seth, for this one, because you're a Navy man and you spend a lot of time on the seas. So what do you think? You think he planned this the whole entire time, or it just happened to fall this way?
I think a little bit of both. You really, there's nothing you really can plan for when it comes to this. You execute your plan and then hope that from that execution, things fall into place for you and they work with you. I personally think he should have never have offered a peace plan. He should have never offered talks. He should have bombed them straight, continuously, until they asked him to talk, until they begged him to talk. Because if you ask them and they agree, they really haven't learned the lesson. Now they're getting off with a little bit, and you give them 6 or 7 years, we're going to be right back where we are now. They're going to be doing the same exact stuff, and we'll be back there again. And if you listen to all, well, civilians are dying, and that's horrible. No one likes that. No one looks forward to that. No one purposely kills civilians. It's a war. Horrible things happen. But this country has been threatening the world for 47 some odd years. Every month they've got someone new they want to go kill. They've gotten their constitution. They want to wipe Israel off the face of the planet. They want to kill the Jews. They want to kill us. At what point do we go, you know what? We're not really interested in peace with you anymore. We want to eradicate you. We want you gone. You have proven over decades you don't want to be a part of the world neighborhood. You want to be an individual. You want to threaten people. You want to put yourself in a position where we have to take you seriously. So now we've taken you seriously, and we're not going to stop. We are going to kill you. Every last one of you we're going to kill. If you get a new government that comes into power, we're going to come back and kill them. You will eventually get the point that we don't want you here anymore, that it'd be best for you to shut up, stay below the radar, and not do anything. Because if you peep too loud, we're going to come back and kill you. We don't want you here anymore. We don't like you. We don't need you. You are subhuman. There's nothing about those people in positions of power in that country that scream brotherhood, or we want to work with you. We want to be a part of the world. We want to be friendly. Nothing. And it's not just 1 year, the last couple of years. It's not the last 10 years. It's 50 goddamn years. If somebody stood in front of my door for 50 years saying, I'm going to kill you, Seth, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, and then I find out they got a shotgun, the next time they came to my house and say, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill them. Because now I don't know if you're just going to talk, you're going to do something. I'm not taking a chance. So why are we willing to take a chance with a country that could potentially get nuclear weapons? And have already said they'll use them.
Yeah.
How many times has someone got to punch you in the goddamn face before you realize they want to hurt you? And just because they go, oh, yeah, we want to talk. Yeah, you might have smacked them around a little bit this time. They might be a little worried. But this is not the first time they've had their asses handed to them. Israel's done it. And they still, okay, yeah, we stopped. No mas, time out, we're done. 10 years down the road, fuck them, do it again. They're not going to listen. They're not.
Oh, come on.
What happened to Seth? There he is.
He's back.
I think he's self-imploded.
We have no common ground with the Islamic Republic of the government. We have no common ground with people that value death over life, that seek the extermination of the Jewish people and Americans, and we have no common ground with them. So I agree with you, Seth.
And I mean, let's call it what it is. We want a regime change. We want the regime to go away, and we should be 100% in to do whatever it takes to get that to happen. Because if we don't, and we leave one of them alive, I am telling you, before we all die of old age, we're going to be back there again, dealing with the same shit, because they're going to be doing the same stuff, making the same threats, and they're going to have the capability of making nuclear weapons, unless we completely end it.
Yeah, I know. I got you there. And Elena, your thoughts on this? I know you're not huge on foreign affairs, but you always say that. But I know you know what's going on. Was this a strategic move, like the ceasefire? This is just my thoughts, and tell me if I'm wrong or I'm speculating. That he used the ceasefire, said, okay, we just bombed the heck out of you. We got rid of your stuff, and got him back in the corner. And then said, okay, we'll give you a ceasefire and just let it play out with the Straits of Hormuz, and then the ships come through. And pitting, China against Iran because they're getting strangled right now. I mean, I look at that as like a strategic play for that reason. And he saves face with the American people. And we have midterms coming up, so he needs to do something, to.
I think exactly that. I think this was a great way to save face, show, hey, I'm reasonable. Seth's option to just go in and, don't do that. Don't say anything and just go in and destroy. That's still on the table. We can still do that later. But at least now he has, said, I hear the people, I don't know if he said that exactly, but, in his actions, it seems that he said, I can be moderate. I'm going to, I can send JD over there to talk, even though everybody knew they were going to sit down and talk and nothing was going to come out of it because Iran is hell bent on being Iran. So we still have, at the end of the day, the upper hand. Even though Iran did play the straight, to the best of their ability, even though they're not following international law. They're doing a good job of being a dark evil regime. So good for them. But they know that at the end of the day, they can be easily destroyed.
Yeah. So, all right, well, Jack, and then we'll go to Justin because we're going to be wrapping up here. So, Jack.
Well, in my case, I know they've been studying the Strait of Hormuz for decades, but given what was going on there, I never thought that doing a blockade of the Strait by the United States was even an option. I thought the option was you go in and you blow them out. But to me, this is just a beautiful thing to watch. This is like three-dimensional chess here with but to Seth's point, there were a couple of weeks there where we were negotiating and bombing at the same time. Puts us in a really powerful position. The ceasefire's up in at the end of this week, I think. So Trump's going to be in a very powerful position now where the bombing starts up. We've got the straits blockaded. Iran's going to be they're going to be at the bottom of the heap here once we start up again. So.
Yeah, that's right. And then there's one thing I almost forgot about too before I go to you, Justin. You touch on this subject, but I just want to bring this up. It's a post by Tucker Carlson, who I used to like, and my buddy Pete told me, "Oh, you Tucker Carlson," so I'll deal with that later. But he's losing his mind. He really is. So I'm going to bring this post up by Tucker Carlson. It says the people in charge don't want you to know this, but Muslims love Jesus. Islam reserves him as a major prophet and messenger of the Lord, believes he performed miracles, and states that he will return to earth to defeat the Antichrist. That's why Donald Trump's painting depicting himself as the son of God offended the president of Iran. It was an attack on his religion as well as Christianity. Today's Morning Note newsletter covers Mossad. I can't even say, I don't have to say his last name, but whatever. Combination of Trump's desecration of Jesus, the Iran war's gunning effects on America's housing market, Colombia's plan to murder Pablo Escobar. I mean, and it just goes on to read below more. We're not going to do that. But seriously, Tucker, I mean, I love Tucker Carlson. I really did. I watched his shows when he was on Fox, and I thought he was great, everything reported on. And then he gets fired from Fox. There's multiple different reasons you can go by. But yeah, we can take that down. But we can move that off right now, the Tucker Carlson Network thing post. So, but yeah, so what the hell happened to him? I mean, I know Trump, listen, he rubs people the wrong way. He put out a meme of him looking like Jesus. He said he was supposed to look like a doctor. Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? But, I know he's battling with the Pope a little bit here and there. And yeah, should he be more respectful of the Pope? Yeah, he should. But yeah, can he throw back in the Pope's face and say, no, you have no idea what's going on here, an open border. And so the Pope says, oh, all borders should be open. Okay, well, what about the children that are raped and trafficked and the drugs that come across the border? No, I'm sorry, Pope, you're wrong. There's difference between how you look at things and how to protect the country. So, but all that, but what Tucker just said, real quick, around the room, we got about 5 minutes left. What do you think about that? So, Justin, I'll go with you with that.
I would say I never liked Tucker Carlson. I mean, even years ago when he was on Fox News as a commentator, I never liked him as a political personality. I never met the man personally, so I'm not saying this personally, but I never liked him I never enjoyed listening to him. I would leave the room if he was on. I never cared for him as a political commentator or a political personality. I never liked him. I never did. And now I don't know what the hell has happened to him. I mean, his mindset before was pretty compatible with mine and most conservatives. I just never cared for him. And then he's now totally off the rails. And Damon, I don't, when I watch news commentators, and this afflicts everybody, Hannity, Riley, Morning Joe, everybody, left, right, center, doesn't matter. When they stay too long in this business, in that industry, they become the news, they become the story. And if you ever notice, you're not allowed to disagree with Tucker Carlson. You're not permitted to do that. He'll talk over you, he'll interrupt you, and that's pretty indicative. That pervades a lot of the political commentating industry. And I just think some of that has probably infected him where, he has become the story, he's the news, and he'll decide where the marker should be planted on whether something's good, bad, or indifferent. And I think that's a problem. But he seems to have abandoned, even a common sense rationale where, he has said some pretty outrageous things about Jewish people and Israel. And I'm like, I don't know where he's coming up with this. I really don't. I mean, he has said some very important things previously about big pharma and transparency. And I certainly agree with that. But I never cared for him. And certainly now I think he's completely off the rails.
Yeah, no, you're right. And we have like a minute or two left to go around the room. But to him to say that it offended Iran, and they love Jesus, like,
gotta be kidding. I mean,
let's go around the room real quick. Anybody wants to pick this up? Anybody like that was the most.
Someone lied to him and told him that he was important and his opinion matters.
Yeah,
he's a. Number one, anybody who talks like that about anybody else has never been punched in the mouth. He has no humility. He's never had his ass kicked up around his shoulders, and it shows because he thinks he can talk to anybody any way he sees fit because he's never had repercussion. He's never said something to somebody and somebody said, "What?" and then dropped him where he stood. So he feels it's okay to talk about whoever he wants to talk about in any fashion he wants to. He's a wet dick, and I don't respect him. I don't know him personally, and I would care not to know him personally. I know enough about him now to know that I wouldn't piss in his mouth if his teeth were on fire. I don't like the man. I think he's an embarrassment to this country. Anybody who follows Tucker Carlson is probably the best part of them ran down their mother's leg and made a brown spot on the mattress. These people do not need to be around. Anti-Semitism is the oldest form of racism known to man, and we all know where it ends up. It doesn't stop because for some reason Jews don't want to fight back. They want to let these people run their mouths and say what they want to say. Oh, it's okay. It'll pass. It'll pass. It's not going to pass. That moron has millions of followers. He's a dangerous man. And he's dangerous because he's not intelligent. And the people that follow him are less intelligent and believe everything he says. He's a danger.
Our producers put in the chat, we got to wrap this up. Let's go to Eleana and then Jack. And just want to say the views and by the conservative corner do not represent the two candidates. So
the Muslims do, characterize Jesus as a prophet, but the fact of the matter is they don't acknowledge his holiness. They don't acknowledge his deity, and to think that they were insulted by this with any sincerity is just it's just an intellectual insult for Tucker to even suggest that. It is absolutely absurd. There's no way they are. The fact, the truth is when it comes to Christianity, they quite frankly do nothing but tear it down. When you get talking to a Muslim, they're not even talking necessarily about Islam. They're just dissecting Christianity and trying to disprove it. And that's what they do. So that's where they really stand on Jesus, no matter what that book says. So, I don't know what Tucker's been taken with, and he is supposedly a Christian himself. So for him to not acknowledge that is disappointing.
Yes. And Jack, if you wrap it up in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm trying to delete Tucker Carlson quickly from my iPod from my list here. But hey, I listened to Tucker Carlson, a 2-hour interview with Mike Huckabee, who's the ambassador to Israel. And he insulted not only the country, he insulted Mike Huckabee. That was it for me with Tucker Carlson. I think I'm done with him.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I used to like him, at the controversial here and there, but now he's So, but all right, guys, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it as always. This is the Pulse of America. We want to put our finger on the pulse of America and talk about it. So anybody that's out there that watch the show, Donald, thank you. I know you make a lot of comments. I really appreciate it. But anyone else, always come on, and we want to know what you're feeling. We want to know what the pulse of America is. So anyone that watches the show, you're more than welcome to come on and comment in the chat box, and we will talk about it. So, all right, guys, have a good night.
Thank you for having us.
Bye-bye.
America's Pulse Network thanks you for watching tonight's episode of the Pulse Podcast. See you at the next packed episode that will take you from breaking news to informative topics. So please click on the subscribe button to get notified for upcoming episodes. If you liked what the Pulse covered, then share the Pulse Podcast with others. APN's The Pulse hosts look forward to seeing you on the next episode.